Have we got over our technical difficulty? Are you guys seeing and hearing this? I hope you are. Hello, hello, hello. Are you guys in the stream now? I've had a slight technical difficulty there. I do apologise. Are we good? You try a different way of streaming once. You try and set it up a little bit differently with a countdown, and it dies on you. Can you guys see and hear me? Are we coming through okay? If you guys could let me know in chat. I'll also check out my phone as well. We good? We working okay? How about everyone else? The views, I think something's bugging here. I'm not really sure what the problem is. If you guys can hear this, thank you, Dark. Thank you, Matt. If you guys can see and hear me, let me know in the chat. Like I said, we're having some sort of slight technical problem here. I'm not too sure what the problem is, so I'll try and get it sorted. Corey, can you hear me, mate? I said I'm not actually sure what the problem is here. Let me quickly check something. Doing that like scheduled countdown thing seems to have bugged out the stream. Hey Codename mate, hope you're good, hope you're well. Chad, you can hear as well, good to see you mate. Sarge, you can hear me. Okay, I think we're okay. I think my Streamlabs is just bugging out. I don't know if I refresh it if it's gonna break it all. I will just see real quick. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. People might need to restart their streams. Yeah, if you're having any problems, restart the stream. I think we're good now. It's definitely bugging though, because on my screen it says there's 0 views even though I'm talking to you guys. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyway, let's get into what you guys are saying in chat. Nubis has had a lot to say pre-stream. I don't know if any of you want to scroll up and check that out. See what Nubis is saying. See if you agree, disagree. Let me know what you think. We've had a slight conversation on that already. Okay, I think we're good now. I think everything's working on my end now. I think we're good. So Chad, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Appreciate the video you sent me the other day. Codename, good to see you, mate. Matt, good to see you. FP, good to see you. Hope you're working on that quiz. That's right, guys. We're actually working on a quiz this time. I've remembered this week. The quiz should be on Friday. FP is cooking us up a little bit of a storm. So we're going to get into that later on in the week. Today, as you would have seen in this and the title of the stream, we're doing something a little bit different. We're looking at a profile of player, which I think not even Ten Hag necessarily needs to focus on, but actually that the club needs to focus on. FP, you will already understand what I'm talking about because I've dropped you a message on Twitter. Corey, good to see you, my man. Nubis, good. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Is stream working now for everyone? I'm not sure what happened there. I do apologise, but I think we're now good to go. This is what happens when you try and experiment with a slightly new setup. But I think we're good to go now. So, Corey, you've got an idea of what we're talking about today as well, of course, because I've had a message with you on Twitter as well. Basically, I want to address this kind of section of the team. Now, of course, not all of these players are fit and available at the moment, but I want to address this area of the team. Now, don't worry. Some of you are going to look at this and say, why has he got Christian Eriksen at left back? I haven't. It's just how United at times last season lined up in possession. But we'll come back onto that. It will make more sense later, as will all of this. All of this will make much more sense when we come onto it a little bit more. You can see that this starting 11 isn't necessarily made up of players which are playing at the moment. Ten Hag looking at AJ, wondering how his cap hide his forehead. I always recommend a good cap, especially on a bad hair day like today. So, but basically, do I want to tell you guys what I'm doing, or do I want to look at some other teams first? We're going to go into other teams first. So, I think that Manchester United have a problem. I think Manchester United have a few problems. I think it's a bit of an understatement. But I think Ten Hag has a problem in his base setup. Now, I'll go back to these guys here. Now, this was last season, how United would often build possession. Would see a rotation of these 5 players moving deeper in the middle phase. Someone like Luke Shaw would push much higher up the pitch. So it led to something like this. 1 second. So what United would often do in possession last season is push Luke Shaw higher up the pitch. And we'd often see some sort of iteration like this. This was kind of United's deeper phase in possession last season. I'm just going to move my notepad out of the way. Good to see you, Ali, mate. Hope you're well. Good morning, AJ, and the best community. So happy with the 3 points. I hope the only way is up now. Really enjoyed the Sancho video this morning. Glad you enjoyed the content. Glad you enjoyed the 3 points the other day as well. Thank you very much, as always, for the donation. If everyone could spam some love hearts in chat for Ali to say thank you. We have hit 20k today, by the way. I didn't realise. I've just received a message telling me we have hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel, which is incredible. So thank you to all of you for that. Discord server will be set up tonight, as will the members page. So you guys can become members of the channel if you wish. It'll only cost you £2.50 a month. You'll get custom emoji packs you can use, maybe some exclusive content which other people won't get. And you will also get a badge next to your name to kind of show that you've been a member of the channel for some time. But anyway, what were we saying? Thank you very much, Ali. Let's get some more love hearts, guys. Keep spamming them. Keep spamming the love hearts. So United often, when, you know, we have this team fully fit and fully available, last season we were seeing this sort of build-up phase with Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane, Aaron Wan-Bissaka deeper, Eriksen, Casemiro in front of them. Of course, it would rotate. At times we'd see Wan-Bissaka push a little bit further forward, Varane would move across. We'd see a rotating shape, but it was often these 5 deep players. Now, something that we speak about a lot when we're talking about these 5 deeper players is that they overturn possession far too much. Right, and United do that in general. So we've got Casemiro, who likes to force the ball forward. Christian Eriksen manages tempo a little bit better, but still forces the ball forward a fair amount. Wan-Bissaka isn't the most technically gifted player you're ever going to see, and Rafael Varane isn't the most technically gifted player you're ever going to see. You want a Buster shirt? What, an emoji Buster shirt? Or literally merchandise? I'm not going to do merchandise. I can do an emoji of Buster in some form. You got to become a member for that, though. But yeah, I think, would everyone agree that what we often see from this deep 5 is that they overturn a possession too much? Would you guys agree with that? Let me know in chat what you're thinking. I had a drink because the stream not working at the start has stressed me and confused me. I think most people would agree, though, that this base 5 often doesn't do a good enough job of keeping possession. Combined with the forward players as well. People like Fernandes, absolutely. And even Rashford isn't a good retention player. Rasmus Højlund isn't a good retention player. Buster Merch, maybe. Whenever United players get the ball, they have no idea where to pass. It feels like no system whatsoever. Buster barking in Fernandes shirt, especially without Lisandro Martinez. We might get a Buster emoji sorted out for members, maybe. But yeah, I think what we see is that this team loses the ball a lot, and that's a problem because it leads to really open games. But I'm starting to think that actually the bigger issue, rather than that United lose possession so much, is the bigger problem actually not that they lose it, but that they're not equipped to win it back. I think a direct style of football can work. I think United can play forward quite quickly, but you can only play in that way if you then get players around the ball which are quickly going to win the ball back and win possession for your side. So, you know, I thought we would see that more this season. I thought the signing of Mason Mount would give United energy to counter-press alongside Bruno Fernandes, and that Casemiro would kind of shore up the midfield. This was something I was speaking about in the summer. I was quite excited. Casemiro, of course, physically has dive-bombed. Physically, he seems completely shot out of nowhere, when last season he actually seemed okay in patches. So I was wrong with that in the summer. But I think United's bigger issue might be that they can't win the ball back. Like I said, I think at times a quicker, directer, faster forward line, which moves the ball forward at pace, can work. Bruno Fernandes, for example, can take his risks in the final third. He can do that. I think it's okay to take risks in the final third. Marcus Rashford can take risks, taking on his man. Now, of course, that has to be, you know, smart decisions with it as well. You can't lose the ball all the time. But I think United could lose the ball and risk the ball more and almost be more creative and more expressive in the final third if they had a better, deeper profile of team. So, what do I mean by this? Well, I'm going to take you over to Manchester City. And this is their build-up structure. Kyle Walker kind of drifts into right centre-back. Ruben Dias plays as the middle one. Gvardiol comes over from left-back to left centre-back. Rodri, of course, the midfielder. And John Stones also moves into the midfield. Now, these are some stats. We've got their height on every single player, but also their top speed reached at some point in the Champions League in the past 2 seasons. Now, of course, this seems a bit crazy because Ruben Dias is not as quick as Kyle Walker. It's just the top speed that they have reached at some point. What we can see with this Manchester City team, though, is, first of all, technically all pretty darn good. Very good at keeping the ball, very good at passing a football about. However, at the same time, they all excel physically. Rodri is absolutely massive and very strong and covers ground quite well. John Stones is tall, good in the air, but also no slouch. He can turn, is quite quick. And the same for Gvardiol. Gvardiol's a very powerful player, pretty quick, very, very strong. The same for Ruben Dias. Perhaps the slowest of the lot, but still very strong and physical. And then we've also got Kyle Walker, who may not be as tall as the rest of them, as we can see in the stats there, but he's still a very strong player, still very muscular, and importantly, very, very quick. Danny Quinn saying that Newcastle are another example of that, very much so, another very good physical side. We can also go to Arsenal as well. So what we got here, Saliba in the middle here is tall and quick. Now, again, he can be way quicker than what he's achieved so far. 31 kilometers an hour is his top speed in the Champions League this season. He can go a lot faster than that. He really can. He's got potential to be a lot faster than that. But we've also got Gabriel, who's very tall, 190 centimetres, very tall, physical profile, who is good at defending the wide areas. Then we've got Ben White at right back, who is essentially a centre-back, really. You know, Ben White is a centre-back who's been shifted to right back in the last couple of years. And we've got Declan Rice, who covers ground at an extraordinary rate. He eats ground. That's how I would describe him. He eats ground for breakfast. The way he covers the pitch is extraordinary. But at the same time, he's very big, muscular, tall, and strong. And then there's Zinchenko. Your cat would outpace them all? Possibly. However, what I want you to do, so look at this base of 5. Tell me a player there which is physically weak. There isn't one. They're all muscular, strong, but also mostly really quick. And importantly, they're all technical as well. We go to Arsenal. They're all tall, strong, physical, technically good, and mostly really quick as well and good at covering a lot of space, apart from Zinchenko. If we now go to United, we've got, what way is the camera facing? We've got Lisandro Martinez, who's about 3 foot tall. Now, I love Lisandro Martinez, but he's tiny, he's not very good physically, and he also isn't as quick as I thought he was. That's a problem. We've got Rafael Varane, who is taller, who is stronger, who is quicker, but physically seems to be deteriorating as he's aged over the past couple of seasons, and injury-wise, he has a problem. We've got Casemiro, who physically looks like he cannot move. Madu, you're not late. You're perfectly on time, mate. We're just getting started. We've got Casemiro, who is, like I said, slow, really struggles to cover ground. We then got Christian Eriksen over there, who again, slow, no muscular size to him at all, can't cover ground, can't win a duel, can't win a ball back. And then Wan-Bissaka, who, to be fair, Aaron Wan-Bissaka up there, he is more physical. Physically, he's quite a nice profile, and he kind of represents the City and Arsenal squads a little bit more. But technically, he's not very good on the ball, so he kind of has a drawback there. But that's a gaping error. When City lose the ball, they have these 5 who are ready to defend. Whether that be large spaces out wide, aerial duels in the middle, or dribbling players which they can lean on. Got a lot of physical power in this side. We go to Arsenal, they got the same. A lot of physical players here, a lot of powerful players here, strong players here, but also quick players which cover a lot of ground. Again, Declan Rice, Saliba are ground eaters. They eat it for breakfast. They cover so much ground. We then go to United. They don't do the same. Like I said, we've got Lisandro Martinez, who's not the quickest, not the strongest, not the most physical. We've got Eriksen, who really struggles to cover ground and win duels. We've got Casemiro, who struggles to cover ground. Rafael Varane, who can't seem to stay fit. And then Wan-Bissaka, who does tick our physical boxes, but isn't technical. This is where I think we need to see a change in approach, and that's what this stream is about. The thumbnail and the title is about finding a new type of profile. United need to sign some bigger, stronger, but also quick and, importantly, technical players still for this team. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts, basically, on some options. I've got a few for you, a few players which are kind of this sort of profile, big, tall, strong players which cover a lot of ground. But I also want to hear from you guys in the chat as well. So let me know some players which you could think of to maybe replace some of these sections of the team with more physical profiles. Because if United can win the ball back quicker, they can have more of the ball and attack more, so score more goals. And also if they win the ball quicker, the defence is improved. It seems like a logical step to the team for me. So let me know what you think. I'm going to read through chat because you guys have been going crazy in chat. So let's have a look. So FP saying it's too direct, our current team, not just down to technical ability, but also down to tactical instruction. Completely agreed. Needs legs and physical profiles. Spot on. Frankie de Jong and Mainu would be Yeah, that would be quite a nice pivot. Doesn't address our physical issue, though. In my opinion, under Ten Hag, it wouldn't go anywhere, even with Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong addresses a different problem, of course. City players are as physical as they can be. Same for Newcastle too. Yeah, so Danny's spot on about Newcastle being another team as well. Now, I think City are a slight anomaly. They almost take it too far, and like it's wrong to dream of being City because they're so well run as a club. But I think we can start to look for these profiles. So let me know some names which you want us to talk about today. We can look through scouting reports. If it's a player I haven't seen before, we can check them out. Look at FB ref reports. A little bit of everything. Just trying to catch up on chat again because you guys have been busy. Codename saying, but in that case, why last season our defence being the strongest aspect? I honestly don't think our defence was that great last season either. Truthfully, I don't. Also, it was a deeper line as well. It weren't as much of a, you know, we're talking about City and Arsenal being really front-footed physical teams which try and win the ball back high up the pitch to suffocate you. What I'm trying to talk about here is being better defensively to improve us from an attacking point of view is what we're trying to go for here. So that's one of the reasons why. Antonio Silva would be great, but super expensive. I think Antonio Silva would be quality. He's a great player. The only kind of counterpoint I would make is that actually in terms of this physical profile we're looking for, he isn't someone who eats up ground in the same way which someone like Diamond or Todibo does, but he's definitely a brilliant player still. Diamond, Mats Vijver, Onana, João Palhinha. My problem with João Palhinha is I think he ticks a lot of boxes physically and defensively, but on the ball, I don't know that he offers as much. He perhaps kind of falls into that Wan-Bissaka category a little bit. He is a good passer, Palhinha, but I don't think he's great technically. Pat B, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Corey saying that Kevin Danzo, of course, Corey's cousin, would be a good signing. We've spoken about that on Twitter. Definitely a player which I need to look into more. Kim Min-jae would have been great. I think Kim Min-jae would have been perfect because physically he would have replaced a lot of Rafael Varane's attributes. He would have been also technically much improved and also a player which is reliably fit. Kim Min-jae is the sort of profile we're looking for. How do I say that name, FP? Is it Lucimi? I'm happy to check him out. Who did he play for? Am I being ignorant here? But I like that. It's a different shout to look for. Plays for Bologna. Top of the left centre-back list. So it says here, if I can get it up for you guys, 1 second. Oh, hello, I've moved over here now. Can you guys see this? You guys see an FB ref report? You're not. What's going on here? 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Bologna, here we go. Keep getting names in chat, guys, of players you'd like us to look at today, because, again, I think we need those physical profiles. In terms of if you want to know my ideas, let's go quickly back to the tactical board. I think a Todibo physically improves this squad a lot. Let's change our deep defence, perhaps, to... Let's take Wan-Bissaka out as well, because I like him physically, but not technically. What if we get a Gertruder in, who's a centre-back who can also play right-back? He's kind of addressing that Ben White sort of role, but also, technically, he's very good on the ball. That's obviously an option. Now, we can't make all these signings. It's just a few ideas. Branthwaite, for example, as a left centre-back, instead of Lisandro Martinez, physically, that back three is so superior to United, it's unbelievable. So that's obviously an option, that sort of player. Could you perhaps move Lisandro Martinez to left-back? A role where he then inverts more centrally. That's a role we could see. We've also got players like Ousmane Diamond, who I think is a wonderful player. Someone like Locatelli could come into this midfield in place of Christian Eriksen, and suddenly the ground coverage you're going to get if you make that change is unbelievable. And again, the whole idea here is that I want to increase the physicality of our team in terms of strength, in terms of pace, instead of air. Did I say instead every time there? In terms of, you know, physicality, in terms of strength, speed, endurance is an important thing, aerial ability, jumping ability. I think all these things are really important. Tchouaméni is perfect. He's exactly the sort of profile. Too expensive and kind of unrealistic, but definitely the sort of profile we're looking for. Madrid are another example of a team who have those profiles. Rudiger, who covers a lot of ground and is good in the air. Militao, who covers a lot of ground, extremely quick but also strong. Tchouaméni, Valverde. If we push higher up the pitch, Jude Bellingham. Madrid tick a lot of those boxes as well. For those of you just joining the stream, what we're talking about is how City have these tall players who are quick and cover a lot of ground, and Arsenal have these lot who make them incredibly good at winning the ball back, but United have this lot who tend to build possession in deeper areas. So that's the discussion there. So that's what we're trying to come up with. We're trying to look at different players. So if you have any suggestions, get in chat and let me know. If I miss anyone's suggestion, I do apologise. If you want to guarantee that I see your message, you can use a super chat so I see your message, but that's completely up to you. Should we also retrain centre-backs into full-backs like what City did with Aki and what Arsenal did to White? Licher to an inverting right-back might work. There's definitely potential in that idea. In terms of the profiles or the players that United have at the moment, I think Lisandro Martinez is probably the only one who could maybe do that. I think maybe Lisandro Martinez as a left-back inverting into midfield could work. Let's keep Rafael Varane in this instance because we can't make too many signings. Let's say, though, we go for a back four like this. Let's say we're going to bring Branthwaite and Gertrude into our side, for example. If we now, when we build possession, go to this shape, a Branthwaite, Varane, Gertrude back three, defending transitions and trying to win the ball back and counter-press and things like that, is far more effective than Lisandro Martinez and the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So there's definitely potential in moving Lisandro Martinez in his position. I'm unsure. The other option with Lisandro Martinez is that if Ten Hag values his on-the-ball ability that much, then we really need to get a midfielder in front of him who can cover for him in the air. Onana. Does a team like this, hang on, can I find Kobe Mainoo? Here we go. Does a team like this now start to tick more boxes? If we went for that sort of base, let's bring Todibo in as well. Why am I hearing noise through my headphones? What's going on here? Could this sort of deeper phase improve United quite a lot? There's a lot of aerial ability there, but Todibo in particular is one I really like at the moment because the amount of ground that he covers and the pace with which he covers ground as well is just incredible. I think he's probably the most informed centre-back in Europe at the moment. Nice have been very good. Todibo's been a big part of that. Onana would be very expensive. Definitely, potentially. I have no idea really on the value of a lot of these players. Ali saying Arsenal wanted to buy Lisandro Martinez as a left-back before we swooped in and bought him in. Exactly. And whilst he may not be that physical, in terms of if we're replacing Eriksen with him in the deep structure, it's definitely still an upgrade. Let me read through some more of these. Improving the quality of conditioning and strength training is probably more needed than signing more physical players. Yeah, I think that's definitely a relevant point there, Chad. I think you're onto something. But I also think it's a bit of both, probably. Because I think no matter what you do with Lisandro Martinez in strength and conditioning, he's always going to be quite a small player. Eriksen, no matter what you do strength and conditioning, is at a stage in his career where he's probably not going to become a powerful athlete. The same for Casemiro. But say, like, if we're talking about our Antonys, our Bruno Fernandez's, our Marcus Rashfords, I think our higher players almost need more strength and conditioning training. I think our deeper players, we probably actually just need new players and more suited profiles. But let me know what you think. If Lisandro Martinez was to play left back, it means no one overlapping Rashford. Yeah, of course, and that's something we've got to consider as well. The knock-on effect it has on the rest of the team higher up the pitch. Absolutely. If you use Shaw as a left centre-back in possession, let's put this on screen 1 second, just so we can kind of... So, Luke Shaw, left centre-back in possession. Replace Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So, wait, replace Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Varane. So, let's say Gertrude and Todibo, for example. Shaw, left centre-back. And ask Licher to play the Stones role. So, you're asking for... Let's say move Kobe higher here. This sort of structure? Is that what you're going for? If so, I really like it. Madhu asking if I think Todibo is good on the ball or good with the ball at his feet. Definitely. My only concern over Todibo really as a player is temperament and things like that. And is he at times a bit too aggressive, leaving gaps behind him? I think that's something which we'd need to work with. But yeah, I think Todibo does look really good in most ways. Agree with AJ by pressing like. Yeah, make sure to like the stream, guys. Plenty of you in here. Make sure to drop a like. Garnacho can play wide without overlaps. Sell Rashford to fund a new defence. We love our frail boy, though. True. Bruno looks like his bones are made out of hope. I doubt he's going to get shredded. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's certain players you can strengthen condition and become these powerful athletes. But realistically, no matter what way you look at it, Christian Eriksen is never going to look like Declan Rice. A 6 with high physical and defensive capacities, positional discipline, good understanding and control of tempo, and dual-winning proficiency. Amrabat, Vifer, Redondo, and Batista Mendy are good shouts. I also like the idea of Scalvini. Now, typically, he is more of a centre-back. But I think there's a midfielder in there. And we have seen him play as a 6 quite a lot in his career. In terms of in the centre-back role, I fear for him when he gets dragged out wide. But I think in midfield, where he doesn't have to do that as much, I think that's a potential shout as well. Just reading through this. When inverted from right back, Lisandro Martinez could use his left foot to pass when facing our goal. From a press resistance sense, I like it. That's easier for him to receive the ball then pass, but he will feel uncomfortable on the right too. Yeah, I guess always it's a positive and a negative either way, right? What about Sangare for Onana? He will be a cheaper option. He probably would have been a cheaper option previously. He's probably not anymore because he recently moved. But yeah, again, he's that sort of player we're looking for to try and bring into the team to again increase the physicality of this bunch. Technically, he may not be there on the ball. Sorry, compared to some of these. It'll be interesting to see what Paul Mitchell will do with the squad. Who he'll look to sell and recruit. Can definitely see Casemiro and Varane going to Saudi next summer. I definitely think that's possible. Looking forward to Paul Mitchell coming in if he does. I think that would be a huge boost to the club. What do I think of Edison at Atalanta? Truthfully, I haven't seen him enough. Maybe you could let me know a little bit. FP saying, is it Lucimi? Again, I didn't... Is that the right pronunciation? Lucimi? I'm going to go for that. And Diamond being his ideal 2 centre-backs. How old was Lucimi when we were looking at him earlier? How old is he? 25 years old? Because the other concern when you're building a squad is that you can't just have a squad of 19-year-olds. You do need that blend of experience as well, which is something that we need to consider. Frankie de Jong is still a shout. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily fit the criteria of today's video, but yeah, he's definitely still a good player. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on Lisandro Martinez in this whole debate. Not just about him as a player in general, because obviously he's great on the ball and things. Physically, he doesn't tick the boxes which that City team ticks. So do you have a concern over Lisandro Martinez? Because recently I have done a little bit. What's this advert? What? Get off my screen. Sponsor me, pay me, and you can have your advert. But what are your thoughts on Lisandro Martinez? Because physically he isn't as good. Is it still okay? Or does he need to come out with the team because physically he isn't good enough? Or can you mask it with enough players around him? Now, again, I'm not saying we have to copy and paste City, right? Because they're almost the extreme example of it. We're not trying to be City. What we're doing is looking at what good teams are doing well and seeing what we can learn. And one thing is definitely physicality. So with Lisandro Martinez, do you take him out? Do you change his position? Do you put different players around him to mask it? A lot of people talking about that Stones role, and it's definitely a role that I like. But is it a Stones role? Because that does mean he's still playing centre-back, where I would question his defence, his box defence. Would we rather see him at left-back inverting? But then it means you take Shaw out, and Shaw's an incredible player. It's difficult. It is difficult. That's why I want to have a conversation. Because it's something I've been thinking about a lot. I'm looking forward towards January and even next summer and beyond that. In my head, I'm constantly trying to think what I want to present to you guys as eventually being, this is the United team I would make. I want to bring that video to you guys. And these are all things which are going on in my head. It's what we're going to cover in a lot of streams moving forward. Just little problems that I've got when trying to recruit certain players. He's solid in the air, so he's good enough. Do you think he's good enough as a centre-back then? Or do you move him? Licher isn't the tallest or strongest, but certainly he is technically gifted enough. I would still give him a chance. Ben says, what if you buy a new left centre-back or use Shaw in that position and let Martinez play in midfield? Again, of course, the other option is to let him play left-back as well. It is a hard one though, Pat B. You're not wrong. Good to see you, by the way, Ben. Good to see you, mate. Licher should still be number 1 centre-back, but with other physical profiles. It shouldn't be an issue. That's where I'm leaning towards. It's just a case of, again, getting your opinions. Because I think if we go back to the current United team, or the United team when everyone's fit, right? And let's say, where's everyone gone? Come back, guys. I need you right now. Here we go. So United last season, a lot Luke Shaw was pushing forward, combining with Marcus Rashford. Bruno Fernandes was obviously high. If you go back to this 5, in particular the area of these 5, we've got 2 players who just don't seem to be able to cover the ground. Casemiro's had a drop-off, which I hadn't anticipated. I have to be honest, I was wrong about Casemiro. He's dropped off physically an incredible amount. So that's a problem. We've got Eriksen, who we know has physical problems. He can't cover the ground and he can't win a duel. So United are weak centrally. But I also think United are weak out wide down this side because Shaw's often high. Eriksen isn't a ground coverer, and neither is Lisandro Martinez. If you go watch Arsenal, Saliba gets into positions where he covers a ridiculous amount of ground. I was talking to... Who was I talking to last night? Corey, was it you I was talking to about Spurs? It was. I was talking about how the likes of Van de Ven, Basuma, Romero are all physical players, which allows Spurs to play kind of their style, the Ange Postecoglou style, because they're so good physically at winning the ball back, they win the ball back quick, which means they can express themselves on the ball. So I think that is something which United need to try and work on. Because if you look down this side, Martinez and Eriksen, they don't eat a lot of ground up. In the middle, we don't eat a lot of ground up. Down this side, we're a bit more suited. But again, Casemiro doesn't cover ground like Declan Rice. He doesn't negatively transition like Declan Rice. So I think we need to try and just beef up the team, make it a bit stronger, but also more athletic. It's why I really like the idea of someone like Onana. Because this guy's insane physically. Absolutely insane. AJ, was it possible that Licher defence looked bad because our midfield got overrun so much? Just to confirm, by the way, I think Lisandro Martinez is a great centre-back. I think he's quality. I just think physically he has a problem in that he's not the best wide defender. Now, that doesn't even mean you don't use him as a wide defender. It just means you can't have another poor player in front of him. So, it's about plugging issues. So let's say again we've got this 3-2. We've got a problem down this side, we've got a central problem, and we've got a wide problem. Let's move it about a little bit. Let's keep Lisandro Martinez there. But again, we're going to bring Onana in here. We're going to take Casemiro out for Kobe Mainu. So we're still playing a similar system. We're now going to go for Todibo. So this time we're making 2 signings and promoting Kobe Mainu to the first team. In Todibo, we've now got a player who eats ground for breakfast. I'll say it again. He covers a ridiculous amount of ground. He's absolutely brilliant across the floor. Really good in the air as well. Good defender. But then got down this side of the pitch, we've suddenly got Onana, who aerially is going to protect Lisandro Martinez a bit more. Defensively, he's going to protect Lisandro Martinez more than what Eriksen was. And also Kobe Mainu, who may not be the most physical player, but he turns quite well, and he covers ground really well in the centre. I think with 2 signings there, we've suddenly massively increased the physical ability of our defensive unit, but also the technical ability of our defensive unit, and the athleticism, the ground coverage. I think with just 2 signings there, we've almost cheat-coded the system a little bit and got ourselves a much better structure for dealing with counter-attacks and even rest defence as well. So again, let me know what you think. Xavi Guerrero would be a great signing, but he's just so lanky. He's a player I want to watch a lot more because I've seen him raved about a lot. But a couple of times, I've watched him twice so far, and I actually wasn't too impressed in those games. But the fact that so many people like him, there's definitely something there. So perhaps I just saw the wrong games. Thuram, Kepram Thuram instead of Onana. Another brilliant shout. Physically a very good player. I'm not entirely sure about using Licher as a full-on left, as his defending in wide areas has been fairly sketchy. The Salah moment in the 7-0 springs to mind. It's another good point. Omicron always coming in with the good points. It is another good point. So is that why perhaps what we do is we change the system about. Maybe now we bring Mason Mount into midfield to get us some energy. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do... This is our back 4. So initially we're in a 4-2-3-1 like this, right? That's our 4-2-3-1. And we're going to see Shaw tucks in. Lisandro Martinez steps forward. In this situation, you would have Onana this side. Mount pushes higher. Do you like that a little bit more? Because now we've got a fullback defending wide areas. A brilliant ground covering centre-back. Technical ability in midfield, but also plenty of size. Do you like that a little bit more? Again, get in the chat and let me know what you think. Xavi Guerrero is stupidly press resistant. I must have just watched the wrong game then. I definitely will make sure to watch him more, Corey. If you've got any particular matches which you could recommend me watching of him, either message you on Twitter or something and let me know. Pat B saying Branthwaite and Todibo in January. I think getting the two of them in January is unlikely. I think Todibo you could, but I think definitely they're two players I really like the look of. Branthwaite is super impressive. He's good on the ball, although I think he's got room for growth in that area. But defensively, his ability to defend wide areas is impressive. It's impressive. So what if this is our back four? More like this. So we're going to sign 3 players to improve our base. And Martinez is going to play left back, but in possession he comes in here. Branthwaite is out here. And again, when I'm talking about a good wide defender here, he played against West Ham the other week and was playing against Antonio, who we know is a nuisance. He's not the best striker in the world, but he's big and incredibly physical. Incredibly physical, Antonio. He's quick, and he puts defenders on their backside for a living, basically. He does it for a living. Branthwaite destroyed him. He was so good at dealing with him in wide areas, which really got me excited. Omicron, you like that structure more? This one? I think I do as well. Onana doesn't seem technically gifted. What I would say about Onana is I think it's wrong to say he isn't technically gifted. I think he's a bit like Wan-Bissaka at times, how he's not the most orthodox. He's not the most aesthetically pleasing. But I think he's still good from a technical point of view. I'm also not saying he's a solution. We could bring someone else in this area if you've got some other solutions. Branthwaite reminds you of Stones. Yeah, I see similar vibes there. Branthwaite's probably naturally a bit better at wide defending as well. But yeah, I get your point with Onana, as in Amadou Onana in midfield. Like I said, I do actually think technically he's underrated. Because he's quite tall and gangly, nothing ever looks quite as nice as other more technically gifted players or other more natural players. But I actually still think he's quite good. What of Amrabat? Well, Amrabat is, of course, another option. A player who maybe does tick some boxes. Amrabat offers you ground coverage. He offers you strength and things like that. The problem is he doesn't offer you that crazy height, which Onana does. It's why I like Onana, because he's freakish in his athletic build. But Amrabat is another player we need to consider for sure. Pardon me. I love watching this kind of show. Thank you very much. But deep down, I know United won't sign any of these players. It might be changing. Normally, I would agree with you, mate, and I think you're spot on. But Sergio Ratcliffe is meant to be coming in, taking 25% of the club. And the talk this morning is that we will see Paul Mitchell brought in as sporting director and Blanc brought in as CEO. I'm not guaranteeing change, but it's an improvement. So maybe we'll see an improvement there. I love a gangly player. Me too. I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm not sure I'd want Wan-Bissaka and Onana in the same team because it might be a hard watch at times. But yeah, Onana's just a different profile. Like I said, he's freakishly big. He's so good at winning the ball back. But he's good at carrying the ball forward as well. I'm yet to be convinced that he's a true 6. He's a player I need to scout more. But it's definitely something to look at moving forward. That's the other thing with a lot of this video. What I want to talk about is not just the players I know a lot about already. It's why I'm asking for help from you guys as well. We're also talking about players which I need to go watch for the course of the season and decide. Because again, at some point this season, I'll probably do one before January and then probably one in the summer. I do want a video saying this is the transfer window that I would try and do. But I don't want to feed you guys stuff on players which I don't really know about. I really want to educate myself on these players. Signing Kevin Danzo would be crazy. He's a physical beast. He's rapid, 6'3" and 90 kg. I haven't seen enough of Danzo to really talk on him. I do believe he's good on the ball. More of a front foot defender, right? Rather than like a sweep behind. I think he likes to be quite aggressive from what I can recall. Although, like I said, I haven't really seen him. Branthwaite doesn't look like it, but he's quick as well. Yeah, I think he is good across the ground. I agree. Martin Zubamendi versus Barca. Watch live with chat. Not massive, but way more physical than I thought. I can't do it. I can't do anything live on it. If people become members, which I'll sort out tonight, we can do it on Discord, though. We can watch through a whole performance of a player and break it down step by step. Zubamendi is a player I'm keeping an eye on, though, absolutely. Second line needs to be physical, as there's fewer numbers. Yeah, I think we need some real strength in there. Yeah, Danzo likes to be front foot. Yeah, I thought he did. Like I said, he's not a player I have seen a ton of. I need to watch him more. So Codename asking about the difference between wide defending and narrow defending. The big thing really is just the sheer amount of ground you've got to cover, but also, I guess, the profile you'll come up against. So we typically associate wingers, stereotypically, as being these quick players, whereas strikers at times are perhaps a bit more physical. So it's obviously a different challenge. We also see wingers tend to be better dribblers. So say if let's go for Lisandro Martinez, because he's kind of the example I'm using here. Let's get Lisandro Martinez. When he's playing in these areas and defending a striker, chances are the player he's up against isn't the best 1-versus-1 dribbler in the world, because he's just not what strikers tend to be. So it's a bit easier to deal with. You've also got support either side. So there's not as much space here. Whereas when you defend out wide over here, chances are most of the time you're against a quicker player, because wingers tend to be quicker. But also you're probably against a better dribbler. And also a player who is more likely to be two-footed and able to twist you and go either way. But also it's a much bigger gap to defend. Whereas in the middle, we had a player either side of us, but also a player in front of us. When you get caught wide, you can become incredibly isolated. So I would say that is the main difference, really, between being forced to defend in wider areas. And I think it's where Lisandro Martinez struggles a little bit more. Minu was only 18. He is 5'9". Yeah, he definitely could grow a little bit, to be fair, still at 18 years old. But I also think because of technically he covers a lot of ground, it helps him as well. Kakare doesn't necessarily address our physicality in terms of size. He does add more tenacity, though, than someone like Eriksson. Yeah, I wouldn't expect Manu to get much bigger. He might have a little bit of growth. I'm not sure. Someone who asked about Lisandro Martinez playing as the middle centre-back. Who was that? Can't remember who it was. But that's definitely an option, and it's actually what Ajax often done. We often saw Daily Blind at left centre-back, because their possession structure was often a 3-2. So we often saw Daily Blind here, Lisandro Martinez in the middle, Yuri and Timber on the right, because again, Ten Hag was aware that Liche isn't the best wide defender. So is there a structure? Can you guys come up with a structure where we get Lisandro Martinez in the centre? Now, that of course means most likely that we've got a centre-back next to him like this. But it does change our left-back positioning. At this point, do we need to sign a new left-back? Or are we happy with Shaw playing this role? Do we instead need a new right-back? Someone who's going to do a different role to Wan-Bissaka? Again, get in chat and let me know what you think. I like Mount on the right. He helps pressing structures. I like him on the right out of possession. In possession, I think he'll always be better in the central areas. But yeah, I think he's a good player all round. I do think physically Mount actually improves this team because he does cover a lot more ground. He is much more energetic than a lot of the United midfielders. Of course, he doesn't bring the strength and things like that we saw against Newcastle, but I think he still improves us in that way compared to Eriksson. But again, get in chat and let me know what you guys are thinking. Get Rio and Skulls in? Yeah, why not? Nearly just choked on my drink and drowned. I love that for me. Do you think teams should be built around their most gifted players or their hardest workers? What a question. Let's put that to a poll, because I truthfully don't have an immediate answer, but I will be thinking. I'll get back to you. What should the team be built around? I mean, ideally, obviously what we're trying to do in this video is recruit players who are both, but I'll word it how you worded it, Corey. I'll do it like that. There we go, guys. Should be a poll in chat any second now. Realistically, it's a balance between the two. We want hard workers which are technical, which is the profile I'm looking for. So I'm looking for, again, an Onana who does have that blend of the two, or a Todibo who has the blend of the two. Again, if we go back to these City squads, Gvardiol is very physical, but technically very good. The same for John Stones, the same for Rodri. If we go to Arsenal, Declan Rice is incredibly hardworking, maybe the most hardworking player in England, but also technically very good. Same for Saliba. In theory, the best players, because the hardest workers will do the most to cover the gaps. What do you mean by team being built around? Like the core of your team almost. Who are your most important players that you want to try and get in your team? And yeah, build the foundation of the team. Like the team's based on them, I guess, is the best way of putting it. I like Rabiot as a free transfer. Could you do that Onana role, do you think? Not to the same standard, because physically they're quite different, but I don't think that Rabiot is a bad shout at all. I know people will probably roll their eyes at that, but I don't think he is a horrible option. With Jared Branthwaite being good in wide areas, thoughts on him playing defensive left-back like Gvardiol? Does anyone, FP, especially if you're here, you still here? You are. Do you know if you've got any stats on whether or not Branthwaite has played left-back before? Because Pat B might be onto something here. If we go for a back four, which looks like this, for example, and then in possession, you go like this. Physically, that's very good. So Pat B might be onto something there. Does anyone know if Branthwaite has played left-back before? I'll try and find some numbers. 1 second. Let's have a little discussion on Branthwaite. I'll have a look as well, FP, if you do. I think my chat is slightly delayed today, so I'm seeing your guys' response quite late. What's the best website to check this? Transfer Market, probably. I'll get it up first screen on you guys in a second. I'd buy young talents with hard-working attitude, then train them on their skills. Seems pretty reasonable as well. I think it depends what league it is. In leagues like the Eredivisie and the Liga, you would probably have to prioritise technicality, whereas in the Premier League, physicality is more important. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I do apologise, guys, that I'm getting your chat through quite late at the moment. I'm not sure why, but it is just affecting my speed of reply. So Branthwaite has played left-back once. That was for PSV. So he's not exactly experienced there, so it is something that we would... Did he play there at one point for the England under-21s, or have I made that up? Can I ask another question, FP? Do you know if he's played in a back three? Does anyone have any idea? That's a question to everyone. Does anyone know if Branthwaite has played left centre-back in a back three before? Because I do see the John Stones comparison, absolutely. What do you think of Inacio playing as a defensive left-back? He's played there for Portugal. Yeah, Inacio is... if we were to kind of try and work around Lisandro Martinez playing more central, Inacio as a left-back is definitely one that I'd consider. What number is he? Any idea? Is he 15 or a... Is it 25? I feel like it's got a 5 in it. I might be wrong. I think PSV use a back four. Yeah, I think they do as well. I think they did, I should say. You guys are way... The chat is so far behind. Like, for some reason, you guys are seeing this stream like several seconds later than I'm saying it. I don't know if there's anything I can do to change that. It's making it quite difficult to chat with you guys. Is there anything I can do here? That's fine. I can just wait for your responses. I'm gonna put Inacio as 25 for now. I don't know if he is. Was I right? Well, I guess that is because doing this physically drastically improves your team. I'm aware we've got too many players here. Don't worry. Let's take out Mason Mount and do just this for now. Callum, you can probably hear me in the other room. Is there much delay? Number 25, happy days. Thank you very much. See, if we were to bring someone like Inacio in, who initially is going to defend as a left-back, like this, in this sort of system, but in possession it moves to more like this. Again, now physically, we've drastically improved our team. We've also got technical players, and Asho is wonderfully technical. He's really good on the ball. Tadebo's good on the ball as well. We've got Onana for extra size, alongside maybe Amrabat, for example. Again, physically, we've massively improved our team in that aspect. Having a hard-working team without technical ability is pointless, because they won't be able to keep the ball anyway. Fair play, but also probably vice versa as well, right? If you only have technical players, you never get the ball back. That role is perfect for Sancho over Antony, and it's so annoying. Incredibly annoying. The whole Sancho situation, I was someone who really wanted that signing, Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon Sancho has changed the way that I scout players, though, so he's been a blessing in that way. I've improved my scouting because of Sancho, but yeah, it is annoying. People, 63% said technical players, by the way, Corey. So that was the general vibe. 51 votes, but only 29 likes on the stream. What's going on there, guys? Make sure to like the stream. I guess in this sort of system also, maybe Mount playing right wing and coming inside works. Can we get Dallo back in? Something like this. Again, this could be a Branthwaite at left back. I'm trying to think of other big profile left backs. Dan Bird, maybe not. Inacio lacks ground power, same flaws as Martinez. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of Inacio defending wide areas. But did you scout his attitude, though? Exactly. This is the thing. It's one of the things which has made me change the way I scout players. So are we saying no to Inacio here? Personally, I agree. Also, the more technical you are, the less hard work you have to work. The less hard you have to work. Got there eventually, and the more you make the opposition work. Very good point. Fresneda is a really good shout. I think Fresneda is a great young right back. Starting to get his chance a bit more at Sporting in recent months. I need to make sure I watch more of him. The reason I asked to see this is Corey, by the way, about the poll, is to see if people subconsciously think we dropped the ball on Sancho, as I think he's our most technically gifted player. That's a really good point, and you might have caught a lot of people out there. It's very true. I think he is right up there technically. I mean, again, I think it's about getting a balance of the two, right? We need technical players which are physically good. That's what we need. What do you think of Bar at Benfica? Really good player. I need to watch him more to understand more of the physical side of his game, but he's a really good player. I like him a lot. Again, it's about finding the right profile. I want to look into whether or not Branthwaite can play left back. But okay, next question. Out of interest, do you guys think you can sign a new centre-back partnership in one window? Now, not can you. Obviously, you can. But because obviously players take time to adapt to the teammates around them and things like that. Do you think you can do it or not? Pardon me, apologies. If we were to ask, we'd kick Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane to different positions or out of the team, bring in 2 brand new centre-backs and start them every game, do you think you can do that? Or do you think, in terms of people developing understandings with each other, their teammates, do you think it doesn't work? Obviously, it takes a bit of time to work anyway, but what do you think? Are you happy with signing 2 centre-backs next to each other in the same window or not? Because I also always think the same about midfield as well. I think it's risky to sign 3 new central midfielders in one summer, although Liverpool are doing it pretty well at the moment. Get Van Dijk and Ruben Dias in. If they have a compatible way of playing. Yeah, what I mean more is about, in terms of just because they have to develop that understanding. Let's say if you only change one centre-back, like this, you've now got a goalkeeper and a centre-back who understand each other. We're just trying to fit one new player in. Whereas when we go like this, we've got 2 centre-backs who don't understand each other, and 2 centre-backs who also don't understand the goalkeeper. Because Ali agrees, I think it can be quite risky. I'm not saying don't do it, and there's a decent chance I end up suggesting it, but I think it can be risky. I think, let's say United in the summer sign Branthwaite and Todibo next August to play next to each other. I think what you would see is that the first half of the season, they probably wouldn't perform that great because, the time it takes to gel. Unless, like FP said there, you bring one in earlier, a Todibo in January, then left centre-back in summer. Any signing is a risk, also very true. Because what you could do, I guess, is Todibo in January, so he now understands Onana, and then a left centre-back in the summer, and give him a pre-season. You can have a proper pre-season. United tend to be quite late with signings, but yeah, maybe this would be a way of us changing. Don't think our current centre-backs understand Onana anyway, that's a fair point. I was also, it just came to my head, thinking about Spurs. They didn't sign 2 new centre-backs in the summer, but they did do a goalkeeper and a centre-back with Vicario and Van de Ven. So they kind of done something similar, I guess. It's not literally the same because it's a goalkeeper and a centre-back, but it's still 2 of the 3 in this deep position, and they're getting away with it. So, who knows? I think starting one and keeping Varane in the lineup. Look at Van de Ven and Spurs. We need players in. Van de Ven is incredible. Todibo and Hanko, both great players. What about wingers? Yeah, we'll cover that another day. We did speak about right wingers the other week. We'll probably cover that more in another stream. Today I want to focus more on getting this deep element of the team. Do you guys agree, though, that if we improve the technical ability of our deeper phase, but also our physical ability, our ability to win the ball back, it would improve the attack? I think it naturally does. Because I think if we win the ball back quicker and win our duels better, the ball is in this area less, and instead we're winning it back here, stopping the attacks earlier, pressing higher because we're quicker as a team, and we're keeping the ball in these areas. I think it has a knock-on effect. Which is why I've been thinking about it this week, or the past week I should say, I would maybe focus on getting this deep area sorted, then focusing on bringing in a new right winger, and things like that. Schlotterbeck for left centre-back. I haven't watched Schlotterbeck much since he moved to Dortmund. I don't tend to see Dortmund that much, but I used to like him a lot, so definitely a player worth looking at. Ajax had technical back 5, but only 1 or 2 had physicality. I think that's what cost them when they went to the Champions League. The final bit, they just lacked that physical ability. So if we could match their technical ability and then put some physicality with it as well, save 3 of them, then I think we've got a really nice blend. AJ, have you played the new Spider-Man game? I haven't, but I've seen it. I think Obama would really enjoy it. Yeah, I reckon he plays it in his spare time. Todibo in January is my absolute dream. Of course, with Ratcliffe having contact at Nice as well. By the way, guys, I've just got Onana here. I'm not recommending Onana as a signing right now. I've just got him here because I haven't put someone else in. For example, you can go Locatelli if you want. Can we think of more midfielders then, perhaps? Because a lot of you guys don't seem to like Onana as much. So can you guys think of midfielders? I still think Scalvini could be an option. Naturally a centre-back, but he's played a lot of games in midfield in his career as well, I believe. Or he certainly moves there quite a lot. Scored a few goals in his career, which kind of backs that up. AJ, do I have PS5? I do not. I've got Xbox One, unfortunately. You still really like Schlotterbeck at Dortmund. I agree that these positions are more of a priority than right wing. Yeah, I think I like the idea of building a good, deeper phase to improve the attacking phase. Barella? He doesn't bring the size as such, but he definitely brings something. Mats Vifer is a brilliant shout. He's a great player. He's one on my list. I think I covered him in a video at one point. I think I'd done a video on Mats Vifer. I think he was involved in like a 5 players I'm watching this season or something like that. Redondo, yep, of course, definitely another shout as well. Redondo's a really good player. Okay, do you guys, let's move on to that then. Do you guys have a concern with bringing in, let's say, a 20-year-old left centre-back, 24-year-old right centre-back, and a 19-year-old holding midfielder? Is there enough experience there and enough temperament in big moments? Again, let me know what you think. Lots of names coming in, so I'm going to write as many of these down as possible. I'll go back through the stream after, because you guys are coming in with all sorts of suggestions, which is greatly appreciated. I love to see it. Struggled to say the word appreciated there. Get Nico Williams for free. Nico Williams is definitely a decent shout as a Sancho replacement in particular, as a versatile forward. Someone that I'll cover more in a future stream. We spoke about him the other week, actually. I'm not sure if you were here for that one, but we did speak about him. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But really good player. Definitely someone I've got my eye on. Florentino Luis is a brilliant shout. I like that a lot. He ticks both boxes. Real are doing it. Arsenal are doing it. I think it works. João Neves is a quality player. A player which I've been watching since his debut. I done a video on him, I think after he'd played about 3 senior games. I was quickly on that last season. Really good player. Doesn't fit our physical profile, which we're going for in this particular stream, though. In, say, another stream, we can look at more technical players if you want and try and build around that. But for this, I want to try and focus on physical players. To be fair, Casemiro should be sold next summer. If Amrabat does well, sign him, then sign Onana. Yeah, I think that's what I can see happening. Maybe Casemiro moving on to perhaps the Saudi League or something like that. Amrabat being signed on a permanent, but then also being upgraded upon, is how I kind of see it. Edison is an excellent box-to-box midfielder at 6'1". I'll make sure to focus on him more. Batista Mendy. Where do you put Kobe Minu in this side? You probably in place of Amrabat. Where is he? Here he is. Boubacar Kamara, I assume you're talking about. Another good physical player. Could Todibo do the Ben White role since he's very good at carrying the ball? Yeah, I think he definitely could. I think I prefer him more as a middle centre-back, but he can definitely do the wider job as well. Yeah. AJ, would Anthony benefit if Ten Hag signed Dumfries or Frimpong? I hate Dumfries, but Frimpong, yeah, probably. Of course, it's all about how the rest of the team then balances out. The interesting thing with Amrabat, Manuel saying there he doesn't think we'll sign him. The interesting thing with someone like Amrabat is the fact that he's only currently a loan. The people like Ratcliffe and Mitchell coming in are really going to have a big say on whether they want him or not, which would be quite interesting. FP saying I'd want someone physical next to Kobe Minu. So for me, Vifer or Onana. Yeah, I agree. Bellegarde would have been good as a 6. He's untouchable, even though he's short. What number does Vifer wear? I'm awful at remembering numbers. FP, can you let me know which number Vifer wears, please? I'll put him on. You don't like Dallo as our attacking threat on the right? Yeah, fair enough. What if we suddenly go... hang on. What if I did this for you? I'm going to bring Onana back in just for now. What if I do that suddenly? What do I think of Guido Rodriguez? Need to watch him more. Another question is physicality a necessity for attackers in comparison to defensive players? Or is technical ability more important? Number 20, thank you very much. I think it's more important for defenders because you're defending the box, for example, you're heading balls away, people are trying to stride forward through the pitch, you're trying to take them out. I still think it's important physically from an attacking point of view, just not as much in my opinion. Not as much. I think it's still very important. Yeah, cheers FP, mate. I'll put that on in a second. I think if your players can't counter-press because they're too weak and get walked past, that's definitely a problem. I think if your forward players don't have stamina, which comes into physicality, that's a problem because the opposition can carry the ball out from the back too easily. I also think it's handy to have a Rasmus Højlund who is physical and can be a target man and do things like that. I think probably physically the most important thing for a lot of forwards is one, the ability to press and track and things like that, but actually the ability to protect the ball, which small players can do. So, someone like Bukayo Saka is deceptively strong despite not being very big at all. Pardon me, I do apologise. Frimpong is good going forward, but is he good in a back four? Frimpong would be a great option for that role. Yeah, he'd need work from a defensive point of view. Again, I don't think that any of these players are perfect. They all need a lot of work. I've got these. What am I doing here? Is that right? Branthwaite on data MB looks horrible. The thing you've got to consider with some of these players, if you look at FB ref reports and data MB and things like that, great softwares, check them out, I love them. You do have to consider who they're playing for. For example, Branthwaite won't have many progressive passes because he plays in an Everton side which don't control possession. If you see what I'm saying. Whereas a Manchester City defender looks much better in stat reports because they have a lot more of the ball. So you've got to consider that as well. Branthwaite doesn't look good in the stats at all. It's the same for Onana. But if you watch Everton, they stand out as well above every other player on the pitch a lot of the time. Alphonso Davies, one can dream. Yep, very true. Saka has a weird type of strength. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's not this big physical dude, but he is strong on the ball. Even Odegaard, I think, is stronger than he looks. He's not going to bench press a house or anything. And he's not a Rodri or a Declan Rice, but he holds himself well in physical battles compared to an Eriksen, for example. Physically, he has the ability to defend man-to-man and things like that. FP saying dream back forward, be sure. Martinez / Dasumi, Diamond, Mazraoui. Mazraoui is another brilliant option. So what would your structure be there? The other thing we need to consider as well, by the way, is that we don't have to build with a back three. We can use different structures. FP, that's a back four. No, he put a slash in. So it's either Lisandro Martinez or Lucimi, not both. Salah is very strong as well. Yeah, he's another one who doesn't look... he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's incredibly strong. I feel sorry for Rasmus. Yeah, completely agree. We need to start creating some chances for him. How about Tomori? I don't like him. That's not very nice. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I think he's good, but I don't think he's great. And I think for the fee it would cost, in particular with Tomori, I think it would be incredible. I think you're talking 70 million for a good defender rather than an elite defender. There's still potential for him to be really quite good, but I don't like him at the moment. There's quite error prone. There's parts of his game I'm just not impressed by. He's a good standard of player, but there's much better, if you know what I mean. Climber strength? Yeah, it's just that weird farmer strength as well, that some players have. I would like us, if possible, to try and settle on a team today. Bastoni, great shout. I'd rather have Branthwaite in the middle. Lisandro Martinez is really bad in the air, but I think he can defend the wide positions well. Branthwaite's is a better wide defender than Lisandro Martinez. I can't get away from, in my head, the idea of moving Lisandro Martinez into midfield in possession. It's just a case of what structure you use to get there. But I can't escape that idea. Let's try something. Let's go. Where's Dallo? So in this shape, we'd need more of a right back, or a proper right winger, sorry, but we'll come on to that. Let's just put Anthony there for now. What if we say this is our starting 11? Just bear with me. No, but you can't. The problem is, I don't think you can sign two centre backs and a holding midfielder. I don't know that you can do three players that close to each other. I'm not sure if you can do it. Can you sign three players that close to each other and expect them to perform? Not getting Kim Min-jae was a mistake. Yeah, I completely agree. Erik at Monaco is an excellent left back technically. Yeah, he's another really good player worth watching. He's not the smallest guy either. Why not De Ligt? He ticks all the boxes. I haven't watched enough of De Ligt in the last couple of seasons. I've never fully been convinced by him. We need to sign Joel Linton, Adama Traore, Onana, Hulk. It's a good strategy. If we can't, out-football them, just fight them. What's your hypothetical ideal FB ref report on a potential defender signing? What kind of percentiles are we talking and where? I think it's a really difficult way to scout a player because I think it should be used to supplement your scouting rather than being the base of it. Because again, Branthwaite looks really poor on an FBref report, but it's because he's just asked to do a completely different job defensively to what a Rafael Varane is because they play at very different clubs. And again, it's then very different to a John Stones because it's very different. So it's hard to put a label on it. Ratcliffe may well sign 3 players. Yeah, of course, also here, we're talking about long-term in the future, like by next summer. The point I'm making is, can you buy 3 players this close to each other and kind of expect them to click quick enough, I guess is what I'm going for. Although, you know, United signed Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez last year and it worked. FBref report is based heavily on tactics. Yeah, and like you said there, centre-backs in particular, it's really difficult to judge on an FBref report. I think a midfielder, you can get a bit more. Even a fullback, you can. Centre-backs, be careful. Scalvini a dream? What do you guys make of Scalvini as a midfielder? What do you guys think of it? Think we're building for the long term anyway? Yeah. I'm talking about, let's say, next summer we want to see this. Maybe one of them in January. By next summer we see this. If you have a run of easier fixtures. So with Scalvini, again, he's naturally a centre-back, but I think I like him more as a 6 because I think he struggles defending wide. Now, he's not the quickest in the world, so he doesn't tick that athletic box. Pardon me, but he is good in the air. Not his position. I think he's going to develop into it. I guess you wouldn't want to spend big money on it because you're kind of spending money on an if. But I think there's potential. He's played 6 games at DM. But what you'll also see is not only like it's not just about the amount of games he's played there, it's also the fact that even when he plays centre-back, he actually advances quite a lot. Again, it's just a thought maybe. Because this is a base 5 defensively. Physically, we've got quite a lot there. And we've also got some good technical ability. Rodri isn't quick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's about... I think what United need is... You can't have every player is quick and strong. We want a couple of quick and strong, like a Todibo, like a Branthwaite. Then a couple just strong or a couple quick. Don't put him at left back then. Is he better than João Neves? Completely different player is the thing. Good to see you, Ian Viking, mate. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, fair points on Scalvini. Can we think of a 6 that United could get? The problem is the great ones have gone already. Of course, there's still Amrabat who could do it. What if Martinez plays like Stones? The thing with Martinez playing like Stones is we then need a different left back. Unless we're okay with Shaw doing it. Okay, so let's just quickly take a step back. So let's go with 4-2-3-1 looking like this, okay, guys? We'll stick with Rashford and Antony for now. We can always change. But we'll stick with it like this initially. There is no great 6 to get. That's the problem. Tchouameni gone. Declan Rice gone. 2 players that United should have gone for instead of Casemiro. Calvin Phillips, not a horrible shout, but he doesn't necessarily tick the physical box we're looking for. Shaw is fine at the moment. Okay, so this is we're going to start with this formation and this system, let's say in February, right? What do you make of this as a team from February onwards? When players are back from injury, we've signed Todibo in January, hypothetically, and in possession, Kobe's given a license to kind of be box to box. Bruno Fernandes is our creator. Lisandro Martinez is going to step in here, and we're going to build possession like this. What do you make of that? What do we make of that? Now, it's not on the level of City still, granted, because they're got about 100 centre-backs in these areas. I still think you want one more. I think you want one more big guy, because Todibo's the only proper big player there still. Again, what we're talking about here is trying to learn from City. Locatelli, Manuel is my dream signing, probably in midfield. I don't think it will ever happen, but it would be my dream. Man said sell Casemiro and Varane. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Hope you're well. I feel like there still isn't that big a team. Someone like Gertrude, which has been said there in chat, is definitely an option. I think Gertrude, the fact that he can play centre-back as well will kind of suggest something about him. Hello for Gertrude. Several people saying Gertrude. Gertrude comes in like this. I think we could just do with a really good physical big number 6. Corey said Wanyama, he's strong. What a throwback that would be. I think what we need to do collectively, I need to do it myself, and you guys need to try and help me with it as well, is we need to find some 6s. Maybe we do a stream on it in a couple of weeks. Cameron, good shout. I am watching him. I was watching him last night. Linked with a club recently. You think this is a Ten Hag team? Well, that's a good thing, obviously. That's what we're trying to achieve, so... Something which, also, I want to do, like, what is realistic as well. Kind of the dream of what we want, but also actually what Ten Hag could do. Who, though? That's a great question. Vifer does impress me a lot. I'm a big fan of Florentino Luis, although his form has dropped off massively. Oh, you're talking about Ten Hag's team with Ajax. I think he realises, though, that it has to be very different for the Premier League. The same that Pep Guardiola changed from the Liga to the Bundesliga. He changed his approach, and now to the Prem. Is Fofana at Monaco a good shout? I'd need to watch more of him realistically. Tactico saying Vifer is Rice 2.0. There's a lot of similarities there in the sense that he's a good ball carrier. I'm not sure his mobility is quite what I'd like it to be. I like the idea of Redondo. I think Redondo's a good shout. I would just have a concern about how quickly he can develop in the Premier League. You know, being thrown into the Premier League at a young age, particularly next to Kobe Mainoo, who's also very young. I would have that concern. I was about to say Florentino Luis. I watch a lot of Benfica. Is the team my family supports? But his attitude stinks. That would be a big, red flag then, if his attitude is poor. Branthwaite, get to the... Do you guys think that there is a world where Ten Hag plays Lisandro Martinez as a left back, or do you not think it will ever happen? Andre's a really good player. I like him a lot. Another player which I was covering a lot last season. Doesn't tick the physical box we're looking for today. If we're looking for a different profile another day, though, definitely. A good 6 would be Palinha. I just don't like him on the ball enough, I don't think. I think more than a 6, we need an 8, one box-to-box midfielder who have good ball ability. Yeah, again, that's definitely a profile that you can argue that I just today want to focus on big, like, athletic, strong profiles. But yeah, we'll cover that another day. Whatever happened to Zubamendi? Okay, guys, so if I was to tell you that I am going to look at a load of 6s for next week, who would you want me looking at? Or in 2 weeks, let's say. Obed, thank you very much for the comment saying, love these live streams, AJ. I think this is so good for growing this community. So let's keep getting bigger together. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the kind words. We hit 20,000 subscribers today officially. So tonight I'm launching a Discord, which you guys can join, where you can talk about United. You can suggest video ideas. You can talk about a little bit of everything. And also maybe the potential for gaming as well. With yours truly, maybe something like Pro Clubs, for example, on EAFC 24, stuff like that. Dallo should be out for Wan-Bissaka. I don't think we've got Dallo in there at the moment, have we? So Locatelli. I like the idea of Locatelli, so I'll write Locatelli down. And maybe in 2 weeks so I can have a proper good look. In 2 weeks we'll stream this. McSauce?
No.
Redondo, yep, I like it. Vifer. Mats Vifer. Guerra, do you think Guerra is a holding midfielder? Because, again, there's a chance I've just, like, kind of accidentally watched the wrong 2 games. But the 2 games I saw him in, he was actually in quite a high left half space position. Why is Locatelli your dream signing? Well, maybe we'll cover it in another stream. Do Football Manager and we can watch. I haven't got the new Football Manager, but it's quite an investment if I'm only playing it on stream, because I don't really have that much interest in playing it outside of stream. So it's just about deciding like whether enough people would be interested. Is it worth actually buying it? Because I think it's about 40-50 quid, which is quite a lot of money. Do you think we need a left-footed 6? That's something interesting to look at as well, actually. What foot we need. Although we arguably can't be too fussy. Oh, Decore for Crystal Palace. Yeah, I don't mind that. Can anyone think of other players which United have been linked with that we could check out? Whack them in the thumbnail, get some views. If you're in the stream right now and you're enjoying it, by the way, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Why not? I'm trying to think of other players which we can look at moving forward. Who was the DM guy that Rangnick always wanted to sign from Leipzig? Was it Haidara? Or it was Tyler Adams at one point. Was he at Leipzig? I can't remember. Guerra is more of an 8 but can be first phase. I'll have to have a look at him a bit more then, because like I said, I saw 2 games and that was kind of enough to put me off watching him for a while. But maybe I need to go back and watch him a bit more. Benacer is a great player. Doesn't necessarily tick the box we're looking for today, but again, another day. Sacha Bowie linked with us. Yeah, he's a player I'm watching at the moment. Haidara is not a 6 now, but I think he's the player that was being spoken about at the time. Yeah, Decore at Palace I've written down. The last time we have a left-footed DM is Matic. What a player Matic was. I wish we had him in his prime. I'll put Zubimendi down and have a look. I don't think he's got the physical trait we're looking for today. Oh yeah, and Onana being the obvious other one. Yep, thank you very much. How about Douglas Luiz? I don't think he ticks the box, and I'm not sure he's the level. Onana is probably top of the list for me at the moment. Or, no, it's Locatelli, then Onana, but I need to watch them all a lot more. Thank you very much, Ali, for the donation, saying congrats on the 20k, AJ. Thank you very much, mate. Off to work now. Really enjoyed the stream. Let's hope for a win tomorrow. Big up everyone in the chat. You are all legends. Thank you very much, Ali. Everyone spam. Some love hearts. I'm really hoping for that win tomorrow night. I will be streaming tomorrow to preview it. It's my birthday on Thursday, so if we could get a win tomorrow night before my birthday, that'd be quite a nice setup. So I won't be streaming Thursday because of my birthday, but I'll be streaming tomorrow and Friday. That's the plan. But yeah, thank you very much for the donation, Ali, as always. Hope you have a good day at work, mate. And again, hopefully hopefully I see you tomorrow actually on stream. But if not, hopefully you enjoy the game tomorrow night, and I'll message you on Twitter again at some point for another chat. James Garner. Seems unlikely. Yeah, I did do a poll the other day about doing some sort of gaming series or something like that. It would be on a second channel. I've got a logo made up for a second channel. I just want to gauge interest on it a bit more, and it's about finding finding out if people are interested and finding out how to stream it or how to video it, things like that. But I might do gaming. I might. I'm working on it. There's no if. We must win in the Champions League. Yeah, it's must win. Thank you very much, guys, for the early birthday wishes. I do appreciate it. I said I will be live tomorrow, probably half an hour earlier than today. Does anyone play pro clubs? Would anyone be interested in that? Because we can do that, not even streaming it. You guys can just join a pro clubs team. Let me know if you're interested in that. And again, I'm going to launch a Discord server tonight, so people can join. I really think Marcus Edwards. Yeah, I mean, he's not the big six we're looking for, but he's a good player, yep. Kimmich, again, he's a good player. He's just not in terms of today's focus. But he is a great player. Thank you very much again for the early birthday wishes. Manuel, you like pro clubs? Okay, I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much, Corey, for the congrats. 30k soon come. You guys have smashed it. I want to hit 20k by my birthday, and we've hit it 2 days before, so it's literally perfect. Are we really closing the book on Casemiro now? I still have a little bit of hope left, given how he did last season. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for the rest of this season. I wouldn't ship him out in January or anything like that, but looking past that, I find it difficult. He was never the player I wanted last year. We'll see. We'll see if he picks his form up. Physically, he has to improve, and also technically as well. We'll see. Mikel Merino is a player I'll write down to have a look at. I might stream Thursday as well, actually. I might stream Thursday. Or do lives when we have a game on. I like to do the separate videos on the games rather than doing like live watch-alongs. I also like to watch a lot of games with my brother as well, rather than doing live analysis. AJ, in a hypothetical world where United is 60% possession side, would you still sign Onana? This is where I need to watch him more to find out, really. I'm early on in my scouting of him. I've been watching him since he joined... No, before Everton, to be fair, actually, but on and off. I need to really crack down and properly watch him. What we're discussing now, we're just talking about players we would like to look at in the future for stream. So basically, you know how we done the right winger stream a couple of weeks ago? What players, what sixes basically would you like me to look at, which tick this box of being big, physical, athletic? So the likes of Locatelli, Redondo, Vifer, Florentino Luis have all come up so far. Is Pro Clubs cross-platform? It certainly is, my friend. It is this year anyway. Carlos Baleba. Good shout, Tony. Good shout. AJ, do you think Anthony should play more centrally, like a false nine or an attacking midfielder? It would be an interesting idea to look into. I'm not sure he's got the ball striking ability to play central, though, is the problem. Manuel say I'm not giving up on Casemiro, but I think it's wise for the club to sell the aging players whilst I still got value. True. I'm regular Xbox, Manuel. Not rich. United need to sign a Napoli scouting department. I stand by the fact that I think United have a decent scouting department. I think what United lack is the recruitment team to actually give the go-ahead to go sign them and have the confidence to sign them and have the club philosophy. I actually do think the scouts are quite good. Do they have to currently be a 6 or could be mould a progressive centre-back into one? If you think it's a player which definitely could be moulded, I'm happy to look at that as well. So don't go like crate, don't just suggest a load of centre-backs, but if there's a couple which you think definitely could, then I'm happy, like a Scalvini. I'm happy to look at that. Mate, I really want to see you do an FM. Yes, that's what I was talking about a minute ago, FP. The problem with FM is I don't have an interest in playing it outside of content. So it's a lot of money if it's a lot of money to spend if I'm not playing it outside of streaming and content. If people then don't watch it that much, it's about justifying, like, is it worth it sort of thing. But I like the idea of it for sure. Because I like the idea of we do it live and you guys help me sign players and do tactics. Manuel saying, come on guys, super chats to fund AJ and Xbox Series X. Great point. Yeah, why not? I think I'd probably spend it on something more worthwhile. But yeah, why not? I would like to get a proper PC at some point as well to improve everything that we do. But that's for another day, unless someone wants to donate. Do I donate? You don't have to. Kerem Turam. Trying to think about him becoming a 6. Potentially, I'll put him down. So yeah, FP, when I say I put him down, by the way, I'm not like taking them to the vets. I mean, I'm writing a name down. With FM, just only play it for an hour at a time on a stream or one player at a time. Yeah, I can definitely do FM. Like I said, it's about, is it worth buying the game? If, for example, only 100 people watch it, it's not really worth it. Because it doesn't get the money back. Because I have no interest in playing it outside of it. That's all it is. Super chats to fund Greek yogurt. Very true, Chad. That actually might be where the money would go. So let me write down Turam rather than putting him down. Doesn't need to be put down. He's a nice guy, I'm sure. Florian Wirtz eventually to replace Bruno Fernandes. Maybe. I also don't know with FM if my laptop could physically run it and stream at the same time. I don't know if it would struggle a little bit. It might struggle. Not sure. Again, I'll look into it though and find out. Enzo Lefebvre, great player. Doesn't tick the box of what we're looking at in today's stream, but potentially if we look for first phase midfielders in a future stream, we'll check it out. What team do you think Sancho plays as on career mode? Probably Dortmund, just living back old times. I've seen a lot on Twitter of him losing on Ultimate Team as well. Depends on how many leagues you have active. Yeah, true. I'll look into it. I'm also, like I said, if people want to become channel members, I want to open up a Discord where we can go through full matches and analyze players and matches. So, for example, I could do a video like how Manchester United beat Luton, thinking positively. But also then on Discord, we do it live like this, and we'll watch the full match, and you'll see me literally like second by second we can do it. So that's something we might do in the future. Kusunu. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about him, Matt. You think he could play as a 6? I'll definitely write it down and look at it. I've got a good list here. I'm not going to talk about all of them in one stream because there's quite a lot of names to go through in depth. But I'll watch through all of them over the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, and go from there. What other thing do I want to look at there? Arthur Verman. Locatelli isn't a 6. Perhaps not naturally. I prefer him more as an 8, by the way, Locatelli for sure. But I also don't want to stunt Kobe Mainoo's growth. This is why it's difficult. Perfect number 8 for United, who's press resistant and physical, is Locatelli. But I do like the shout of João Neves. He's a good player. Are we still Team Andre? I love Andre. The problem would be just size. But in the right team, he could get away with it. Is that United? I'm not sure. Maybe learn from Liverpool. They don't play with a certified Big 6. But I think that's costing them. I think if you watch McAllister at the moment, he is struggling. Whereas their best team had Fabinho. Yeah, I'll check out Edison. Because I'll be scouting Scalvini anyway, so. I'll certainly write him down. Is there anything else we want to talk about on stream, or do we want to wrap up here? Like I said, I'm planning on streaming 3, maybe 4 times this week. So we've got plenty more content coming. Ndidi is about to be a free. I just don't like Ndidi technically. Maybe a year under the current Leicester play, though, could work. Yeah, Dangora is a shout, but again, it doesn't fit the profile of today's stream as such. But again, maybe in the future. Thoughts on Chelsea versus Spurs? Never seen anything like it. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. I've never seen a football match like it in my life. Nothing close to it. And do I think Postecoglou was brave or stupid? Stupid. Both. I think it was brave what he done, but I think it was stupid. I think it was always going to cost them. Basuma, yep, he'd have been perfect. That's what I suggested him a couple of years ago. Yeah, I thought Postecoglou was asking to concede goals. If Chelsea had a brain, they'd have scored about 8. Chelsea put in one of the worst second half displays I've seen from a team this season, and won 4-1. So that probably suggests everything what happened in that game. Absolutely crazy. It was great fun though. Yeah, Basuma won't leave Spurs. I'm just going to... You guys are about to get adverts, but I'm going to skip them because we're wrapping up stream in a second anyway. So I'm just going to skip those adverts for you guys. What a nice guy, am I right? If we play a double pivot, we could move Mount to the right and have Frimpong. Then maybe Scalvini and Amrabat in midfield. There's definitely different structures we could use. It's about which approach you want to take. See you later, Chad, mate. Hope you're good. He says, has to leave now. Make sure to wear SPF to protect against UV rays. See you in the next stream. See you later, Chad. If you've got any more Maguire fan cams, send them over. I was going to put it on, but ended up playing Spider-Man 2 instead. Poor mistake. AJ Manscaped sponsorship. They've sponsored us before. They have sponsored us before. Last year, this time last year. Sander Berge, if he'd reached the potential that he's shoe early on in his career, potentially, but he just never has. I am working on a sponsor at the moment, though, guys, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Is Kobe Minu still injured? He's not in the squad for the Copenhagen game. I believe he's with the under-19s. So I think probably based on that, it will be after the international break before we see him for the first team. Minu is more of a central midfielder and not a defensive midfielder. Yeah, I would describe him more as a second phase player. Palacios from Leverkusen, he's a player I want to watch. If Saudi clubs come and willing to pay over 100 million for Bruno, would you sell him? I have no idea, because that's a lot of money for a player who, you know, you're never going to get that fee offered again because of his age. It's a difficult question. Do you think Kobe Minu will be a big player for United in the future? Yeah, I think he will. Would Ahmad have a chance? Potentially. We should look at some championship talent used to physicality. Nice idea. I like the suggestion. Never sell Bruno unless you're getting Verts. Reasonable. Minu is a Thiago type player. Yeah, I think he reminds me of Thiago. He reminds me a bit of Moussa Dembele. He's got a Frenkie de Jong vibe about him. He's got a Paul Pogba vibe in the way he carries the ball at times. Yeah, he just looks a really good player, really. Thank you, RK. I'll write the name down now, my man. Thank you very much. Love the idea of championship players. Yeah, it's just a case of finding them. I'm trying to think. I'm not particularly aware of any of them right now, I don't think. I watched the first few weeks of the championship, but not since. But yeah, I'll have a look into it. I think for today's stream, though, we are going to wrap it up. Keep an eye on the community page the rest of the day, because there will be a post going up later with a link to a Discord server, which means that you can reach out to me and chat anytime. You can chat to each other at any time, as long as you be friendly with each other. If not, you're getting booted. You can suggest video ideas, and if you become a paid member on the channel, you will also have the potential to see extra content and things like that on Discord, which will include going through matches, a 90-minute match, or scouting different players. So definitely check out all of that. In terms of today's stream, I think we're just about done there. Yeah, I did see the clip of Kobe Minu. He just looks so good. Shea Lacey, I've got a video on the channel from a couple of weeks ago if you want to go check it out. Yeah, he's a good player. Go check out that video. I think for today's stream, though, we are finished. So again, keep an eye on the page because I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to talk to you guys more. I want to say thank you for hitting 20k by producing this Discord server, which will be free to everyone, but it will be extra parts which you can pay for. So yeah, look out for the potential to talk about video ideas, scout new players, talk about United games during the match in chat on Discord. So all of that will be coming this evening. But apart from that, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who's just kind of sat there quietly and watched. Thank you to everyone who's got involved in the poll, to everyone who has asked questions, given their thoughts, given me players to watch, a little bit of everything. Of course, a massive thank you to Ali, as always, for the donations. Super, super generous. And yeah, thank you guys in general for 20,000 subscribers. I'd love to do a special for 20k, but I can't really think of anything. So instead, I'm going to give you that other extra content. But yeah, I think apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another video previewing Copenhagen. And then we'll be live in the afternoon again to discuss the Copenhagen game. So I'll see you in the next one.